The BDS Radius Arm Upgrade Kit is perfect for you heavy-duty Ram owners out there who want to maintain your truck's drivability and durability even with a pretty significant lift kit installed. These arms are stronger than your stock units, and they're designed to work specifically with 2 to 6 inch lift kits to give your truck the capability and road manners it needs to match its beefy stance. Before we dive in too deep here, just wanted to take a moment to talk about fitment. These arms are designed to fit 2014 and newer 4-wheel drive Ram 2500s, as well as 2013 through 2024 4-wheel drive Ram 3500s, all of which need to have been fitted with a lift kit between 2 and 6 inches in height, so they will not work on a stock truck. Subtle suspension differences between the years of the 2500 and the 3500 mean that they will not fit the same year range for those two different trucks. So again, just double check before you buy. The dark side of lift kits is that they can seriously throw off your suspension geometry, which negatively affects the way your truck drives and handles. The factory arms on your truck just don't have the length to accommodate a lift kit properly, especially if you've got one that's upwards of 4, 5, 6 inches. And that can make your truck hard to align and generally just not drive as well as it should. Plus, those arms are not really all that strong. Enter BDS's solution. These arms are a bolt-on kit that are specifically designed for heavy-duty Rams that are lifted anywhere between 2 and 6 inches. So these are going to help correct that suspension geometry so your truck can be aligned easily and properly. You'll end up with more ground and wheel clearance, and you won't have excess caster from the lift as well, so your truck should be able to drive pretty much like it did the day it rolled off the factory floor, only it's going to look a heck of a lot cooler, be a little bit stronger, and it's going to sit a lot nicer too. The inclusion of OE-style sleeved rubber bushings and lower cam slots down here are also going to help retain that drivability, and the construction of these things, they're so solid they should be able to handle pretty much anything you can throw their way. And that means these are solid, if you can't already tell just by looking at them. Made from 1 3/4 inch diameter heavy wall steel tubing, these are fully welded with gussets for additional strength. As opposed to the box steel ones you get stock, these are a big improvement. Those rubber bushings don't require any maintenance, and again, the integrated cam slots at the mounting points help with caster adjustment for alignments. Everything is topped off in this nice textured black powder coat for good looks and some additional protection against rust and corrosion too. Pricing comes in at about $650, which makes these a more premium option in the market. Now, you can get less expensive arms, but these are so solid and so well thought out that I think it's worth spending the extra money if you have the room in your budget. Installation gets a 2 out of 3 on our difficulty meter, and you can expect the job to take you a bit over 2 hours to complete. While they are intended to bolt right on without any other modifications, you will need to do some maneuvering with a floor jack and jack stands in order to get these things into place, and well, they are hefty. So give yourself some time, maybe grab a friend, and you'll be able to get them done. We're also going to walk you through the install process now, so let's head on out to the shop and we'll get to it.
For this install, you will need various impacts, various ratchets, a 3/8 inch adapter if necessary, 13, 21, and 27 millimeter sockets, a 22 millimeter wrench in our case, a small pry tool, a soft low mallet, a rivet tool, and also not shown here is a jack and jack stands. All right, today we're going to be installing some radius arms on our Ram, so let's get started. All right, so we're starting off with the front of our truck lifted up, and our differential is supported by jack stands. Now, when you're doing this, you want to make sure not to lift the truck by the radius arms themselves. You want to be able to have the suspension components and the differential move, because we need this to be unloaded in order to get our arms off. So our front lift arms are on our frame behind our radius arms, and then we've got our jack stands underneath. Now, this kit is meant for a 2 to 6 inch lift. We have a 2 inch lift on here. So what we're going to need to do is remove our shocks so we can maneuver our differential around. We're also going to need to remove our brake line bracket as well, then we'll get to our arms. So first we'll remove our brake line bracket using our 13 mil socket on our impact. Now we're going to unbolt our lower shock mount. You'll notice we have extenders, so we're going to remove the bolt holding our shock to our extender. If you happen to have longer shocks without extenders, you just want to remove your factory 21 millimeter bolt. For ours, we'll need our 21 mil socket and 22 mil wrench. Loosen this up. Get our nut and washer out. We'll pull our bolt out, get our shock out of the way. Next, we can remove our 3 radius arm mounting bolts. We'll need our 27 millimeter socket on our impact for this. Your top front one has a flag nut, your bottom ones have the eccentric washers on them, and then we'll go for our rear one. Now these may give you some trouble, so you may need a breaker bar or a large ratchet. Now that we have it loose, we're going to run it the rest of the way off with our impact. Now we can break our bottom nut loose, again with our 27mm socket. Next, we're going to remove our flag nut from our rear mounting bolt, again with our 27mm socket. Once we get that loose, we can grab our impact. Now we're going to run our rear mounting bolt out. You're going to get to a point where you want to support your radius arm. Remove that bolt. Now this is going to be loose at this point, so we'll just stick this in just enough to hold this so we can get our front bolts out. Now we're going to run our front bolt out. I've got my ratchet and my 27mm socket. So it starts to come out. I can pull this out all the way. We'll do the same for our bottom bolt. Now you will have to come to the inside of the arm for this. It's just a 27mm head. You may need to grab a soft mallet and tap this bottom bolt out. Once you get it to this point, you can support your arm. Work that bolt out. And we'll remove our bottom bolt, our rear bolt, and remove our radius arm. All right, so now that we have our factory arm off, we're going to install our new arm, going pretty much in the reverse process. We're going to install our front upper bolt, and then our rear bolt, and then get our lower caster bolt in. So we're going to just loosely put our bolts in, and then we'll get everything situated and tightened down. Get our arm lined up. Now we're going to support our front. We're actually going to get our rear bolt in first, if you can get it in there. So we're going to get our top bolt lined up. Pretty much all the way through. Tap this in. Now we're going to get our rear bolt in. You may need a soft mallet to get your bushing area into the mounting point. Now we can get our rear mounting bolt in. So once you get this most of the way through, we're going to grab our flag nut and get that on the back side of our bolt. All right, so now we've got our 27mm socket on our impact, and we've got our flag nut. Now remember, the back bolt one is going to be the one with the flag facing out. Just lined up on our bolt, and we're just going to get this started. Be careful of your fingers during this. And we've got it through enough to hold, but we haven't tightened this down yet. Now we can get our bottom forward nut. All right, so setting our bottom forward bolt is going to dictate our caster. Now you want to refer to the manufacturer's chart on where you need to set your caster bolt specifically for your ride height. We have a 2-inch lift, so we're going to be facing ours towards the back of our arm. So our eccentric washer is going to look like this. That's going to push our bolt to the back side of our opening. Again, depending on the ride height you have within the chart specified, you want to locate your bolt as accordingly. All right, so now you may need to use a soft flow mallet to help your bolt get through. All right, so now that we have both of our front bolts through, we're gonna get our eccentric washer in on our nut side. It's gonna line up on the recesses on the bolt. We'll get our nut in place. Now we may have to work this a little bit to get it into its slot. I'm going to take a pry bar and we'll pry back on our radius arm, push forward on our bolt. All right, so we've got our eccentric washers inside of our caster blocks. We're going to tighten this back down using our 27 mil socket and our 24 mil wrench for our bolt head. And we'll come up top and tighten down our top forward bolt. Now we'll tighten down our rear bolt. So now we're going to reinstall our 13 millimeter bolt for our brake line bracket. Our 13 mil socket. Now we can reinstall our lower shock mounting bolt. Once again, if you have extended shocks, you just want to reinstall your factory 21 millimeter bolt. We're going to install ours on our extender. Get our flat washer, 22 millimeter lock nut in place. We'll tighten ours down with our 21 mil socket and 22 millimeter wrench. Now lastly, we're going to install our logo. These get riveted on, so you will need a rivet tool. I'm going to take our 2 supplied rivets, get those through our mounting points. Get those lined up. Then we'll get our rivet tool on. We'll get both of these riveted on. So now once you have this side completely installed, you want to repeat this entire process for the other side. Always remember to torque your hardware down to the manufacturer specifications and double check your alignment after this install.
That's going to wrap it up here for our review and install of the BDS Radius Arm Upgrade for 2 to 6 inch lifts, fitting 2014 and newer 4-wheel drive Ram 2500s, as well as 2013 through 2024 4-wheel drive Ram 3500s. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, for all things Ram, be sure to keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.